The exit polls have some fascinating information in them. And my overall impression on it, Larry, is it's not good for the Democrats, and it's absolutely awful for Joe Biden. The numbers, yes, we're not surprised to see inflation is the most important issue, and the voters trust the Republicans to handle it more than the Dems. I will say I was surprised to see close behind it was abortion. 32% say inflation's number one, 27% say abortion's number two. On abortion, they trust the Dems more by a 10 percentage point margin. But you get to like the overall numbers, okay? Economy, 75% say the economy's poor or not good. Inflation, 78% say this past year, inflation has caused their family moderate or severe hardship. You go down the list on values. Our society's values on gender, identity, and sexual orientation changing for the worse or for the better. 50%, they're changing for the worse. Only 27% say they're changing for the better. 20% say neither. I could keep going. But on the cultural issues, on the economic issues, on crime and so on, these voters are ready to pull the lever for the Republicans. Abortion, as it turns out, was indeed the Democrats' best issue.
Yeah, it turned out it was their best issue, but of course it wasn't the major issue. The major issue, of course, is inflation, gas prices, and then you talk about crime, you talk about the borders. But here's something else, too, that I think is going on. For the last several years, we've had all of this wokeism, big push for diversity, inclusion, equity. So it's infused every segment of our society, academia, media, big tech. People are walking on eggshells lest they be perceived as racist. Ibram Kendi, the anti-racist, would probably be smiling about how anti-racist America is. So if America is anti-racist, and if you're Black or if you're brown, and you no longer think of yourself as victimized by systemic racism, then you begin to think of yourself the same way other Americans think of themselves. I'm worried about crime. I'm worried about inflation. I'm worried about whether or not my kid is going to be infused with critical race theory. I'm worried about the borders, like everybody else. You can't, on the one hand, attack America for being racist and put in all these programs and policies and pressure to make America more sensitive to race, and then say it didn't matter. You're still systemically oppressed. So I think that they have kind of been victors of their own success in convincing people that we need to lean over backwards to avoid the appearance of being racist. Because more and more Black and brown people say, okay, what about the things that affect me? What about when I go to the gas station? What about when I take my kid to school? What about inflation? What about the fact that I'm paying $400 or $500 a month more for the same goods and services that I paid 2 years ago? This is what's going on in the country, and the Democrats are going to pay for it.
The numbers on race, according to the exit polls, racism is a major problem. 50% of voters said yes. Minor problem, 30%. Not a problem at all, 16%. So you have 46% saying it's either minor or not a problem. You got 50% saying it's a major problem. And by the way, we don't know what kind of racism those folks are talking about. You know, those could be Asian Americans, those could be any type of Americans. I think the Democrats are going to be surprised to see that their messaging has not resonated in the way that they would expect, especially given their total control of the media. You look at how things are going in the United States, and this is number one. How are things going in the United States? 73% of today's electorate is either angry or dissatisfied. Angry or dissatisfied. That's why in these midterm elections, the party in power tends to lose seats and lose a lot of them.
And Megyn, on the racism thing, people might even be talking about racism on the left. I'm in Los Angeles, and there were 3 members of the LA City Council on a leaked tape. They were Latina, all talking about how they're going to suppress the Black vote, making horrific statements about Jews, about even fellow Mexicans, and about whites. And so I think a lot of people feel that this business of America being systemically racist is something that not just white Christian male Republicans are guilty of, but also people on the left are guilty of. And again, I think people are sick of it. You can't have a president named Barack Obama reelected with the worst economic recovery since 1949, getting a higher percentage of the white vote than John Kerry did 4 years earlier, and still talk about how racist America is. It's not going to fly.